Welcome to the next lesson of the Amazing Selling Machine, Understanding Amazon's Fees. And here's what we're going to cover in this lesson. The different fees that Amazon charges you as a seller, how those fees play a role in the profit that you'll make, and how to use something called Amazon's FBA Revenue Calculator tool in order to calculate exactly what those fees are. Now, as a seller, Amazon charges two different types of fees each time that you sell a product. The first is called a referral fee, and I like to think of this as simply a commission you pay to Amazon every time you make a sale. And that commission is a flat percentage of each sale that is almost always 15% for most categories. Of course, there are a few categories where that might be different, and if you want to see exactly what those are, simply do a search for Selling on Amazon Fee Schedule inside of your Seller Central account to see a list of all fees by category. Let me show you how to do that right now. So here I am logged into my Seller Central account. I will go up to the top, and there is actually the help button. It's kind of hidden right now by the $, but that's what it is. You click on it. You type in a search for Selling on Amazon Fee Schedule. It's going to pull up different results. The very first one is the Selling on Amazon Fee Schedule. Click on that, and then when you scroll down, you'll get to a table that'll show you all the different fees by category. The category is over here on the left, and the fee is here in the middle column. You can ignore the right column. That's if you're not a professional seller, but we're all going to be professional sellers. So we're just going to pay a percentage instead of a flat fee per order. And as I scroll down, you'll see that most of these categories are 15%. There are some that are a little less, but I don't think we're going to be selling major appliances. But of course, feel free to go in here, check out the different categories in case you're considering selling in a different category, and you can find out exactly what your fee will be. Now let's head back to the rest of the lesson. Now, the second type of fees that we pay Amazon are called FBA fees, or Fulfillment by Amazon fees. And these are all the fees that we pay them to take care of the storage and the picking and the packing and the boxing and the shipping of your products to your customers. And we'll show you exactly how to calculate that later on. Now, in order to calculate how much profit you make off of each one of your sales, you need to know all the different costs that are involved. And that includes the cost of your product that you pay your manufacturer, including getting it all the way to Amazon, the different fees that Amazon charges, and we just went over those. That's the referral fee and the FBA fees, plus any advertising you might spend in order to get more sales. And we'll cover exactly how to calculate that in a later lesson. Now, why is this important? Well, it's important because profit is an important factor when we're trying to pick our final supplier. It's not the only factor, but it is a factor. Now let's take a look at an example of exactly how to figure out our profit from each sale. And for this example, I'm going to use the ultralight sleeping pad that Rich Henderson found as one of his top 3 hot product opportunities in Module 1. So let's imagine that we're going to be selling a similar product, and the price that sells for is $41.97, and we're going to sell ours for the same. So if that sells for $41.97, we'd have to take away Amazon's referral fees, which is their commission of 15%. And in this case, that would be $6.30. Then we'd have to also subtract out the Amazon FBA fees, which are $4.75. Now, if you're wondering where I'm getting this number from, don't worry. I'm going to show you exactly how to get that in the next step. And then we also have to take out shipping the product to Amazon. This is not importing the product to your home for the first time or to a warehouse. This is getting it shipped from your house or warehouse to Amazon using Amazon's own UPS services, which are really affordable. So I'm saying that's going to cost about 30 cents per unit, and I'm also adding in another 20 cents per unit for Amazon to put a label on the product for us. And we'll talk about that more later as well. So altogether, shipping it to Amazon, including the 20-cent label fee, will be another 50 cents we have to subtract out of that. So then what Amazon would pay us every time we sell that product is $30.42. Now that's not our profit because we also had to pay to have that product made, and we had to pay to have that product imported. So I include that in what's called the cost of the product. So in this situation, the product cost would be $16.50, and I am calculating an additional $1 per unit to import that. So the total cost of the product is $17.50. So then we would have to take that from what Amazon's paying us, and our net profit is $12.92 per unit, which is a 31% profit margin, which is a very healthy profit margin. Now, if this looks a little complicated and you're wondering where I'm pulling these numbers from, I'm going to show you a really easy way of finding that right now. The tool that we use to perform all these calculations is Amazon's FBA Revenue Calculator tool. There's a couple different ways to find this tool because it is Amazon's own tool that they provide to us. But believe it or not, the simplest way is to simply do a Google search. Do a search for FBA Revenue Calculator, and the first result that goes to Amazon is the tool that you want. Now, you can search for this inside of Seller Central. It just is not that easy to find, believe it or not. That's why I like to do a Google search. But another way to find it is to go look at our ASM workbook. And in the column that is called FBA Revenue Tool Profit, that is actually a clickable link. That column header is a clickable link that will also take you to Amazon's FBA Revenue Calculator. Now, in order to use this tool, there's a few things that we'll need. We'll need to know the ASIN of a similar product sold on Amazon. And the ASIN is simply a unique product identifier. We'll use that when using this tool. We'll need to know the selling price that you plan on selling your product for. We'll also add in 20 cents per unit to pay Amazon to put their own special sticker on each product that helps them track the products throughout their warehouses. We'll need to know the estimated product cost, what we believe we can get each product for from our supplier. And then we'll need to estimate the importing cost and the shipping cost of getting the products to Amazon. Now, we'll get the real cost of these later. We'll just use some estimates for now. So let's go use the tool, and I'll show you how easy it is in order to calculate your profit. So here I am on the FBA Revenue Calculator tool. Now remember, the first thing we need to do is to enter in the ASIN of the product. You can also search for your product by name if you want to. It's just usually quicker to enter the ASIN. I'm going to select the product that Rich Henderson found for us, the Outdoorsman Lab Ultralight Sleeping Pad. I can see the ASIN up in the URL for that product. It's the number that comes right after DP. I can simply copy that. And then I'm going to enter that into here, paste that over there, then do a search. All right, it pulls up all the product details for me. Now, what's really cool is you can see exactly the weight for the product and the dimensions for the products. And if you're sourcing your product that's very similar to this, these should match up to what you will also have for your own product. Now, the price of the product is going to be what we want to sell it for. And a good way to start off is simply to use what they're selling their product for. And let's take a quick look. They're selling it for $41.97. So let's make that our target, what we want to sell our product for, $41.97. Now next, we need to enter in how much it's going to cost to ship the product to Amazon. Remember, this is not importing it. This is after you've imported it, you've inspected it, everything looks good, and now you need to ship it to Amazon using their UPS services, which are incredibly affordable. I'm going to estimate that on average, shipping each one of these units in Amazon is about 30 cents, but we also need to enter in that 20 cents that we're going to pay Amazon to do the labeling for us of their own unique sticker. So the 20-cent labeling fee plus the 30 cents UPS cost to ship at Amazon makes for a total of 50 cents. Now, the last thing we need to enter in is the cost of the product. Now, this will include the cost that we pay the supplier for the product, plus the cost to import the product. Now, I've already looked at the cost for this. We should be able to get this for around $16.50 per unit. Plus, I'm going to estimate that it's $1 per unit to import this, meaning the entire cost of the product, including importing, will be $17.50. Now, we don't need to worry about this left column over here. That's only if you're going to ever pack and ship the products and send them to your customers yourself. We do not recommend doing that. It's time intensive and you don't get very good rankings. Always use the column right here where we're actually doing Amazon FBA or Amazon fulfillment. But once we enter all that, you simply click on calculate and it's going to do all the math for you. It's going to calculate the 15% Amazon referral fee. It's also going to calculate the fulfillment by Amazon fees. And then it'll do the math and tell you what your net profit is. In this situation, it is $12.92, which is a profit margin of 30.78%, or rounded up, a 31% profit margin. Now, that's how easy it is to use the Amazon FBA Revenue Calculator tool. And this screenshot is a quick reference should you ever want a refresher on the 3 different fields that you enter into the FBA Revenue Calculator and what each one means. Now, before we end this lesson, let's quickly go back to the Outdoorsman Lab Ultralight Sleeping Pad, and I'm going to show you a little trick and an advanced method for calculating the Amazon fees that we just looked at using the FBA Revenue Calculator tool. You'll notice at the top that I have my Chrome extensions installed. Here's the Jungle Scout Pro extension. Here is the Helium 10 extension. Now, if you haven't installed this yet, you definitely want to go and install it. And you also want to make sure that it is enabled. If it's grayed out, it means it's not enabled. And you'll see all these different features grayed out here. You'll want to make sure this button is just toggled so it's blue. And that means that your Helium 10 extension is enabled. And once you've verified that it's enabled, on any product, you can scroll down and you will start getting some really valuable information right there on this product. Here's some historical sales trends for the product, as well as the prices that it's sold for and the sales rank. But what I'm more concerned about right now is the revenue calculator right here. This comes straight from the FBA revenue calculator tool that we just looked at. So you could use this instead if you wanted to. Here's the column that we input the data. We entered in the price the product will sell it for, and they're automatically going to tell us what our net takeaway is from Amazon after they deduct the Amazon referral fee and the Amazon FBA fees. And if we click on that little eye, it's going to show you how those are broken out. Again, referral fees are 15% for this product, which is $6.30. And then the FBA fulfillment fees are a total of $4.71. Now, this may be a few cents different than what we just looked at. And that's because Amazon is updating their fees all the time. Right now, it's the fall, and they may be getting ready for the holiday season, updating slightly. And also, the FBA fulfillment fees include their estimated monthly storage costs for this, which change over time. But in general, you can just use this. If it's a few cents off from what we just looked at, it doesn't matter. What's important is that you truly know what you're paying Amazon every time you sell one of their products, so you know what they're going to pay you. And then you'll subtract the product cost, the shipping costs, and know what your true profit margin is. This is just a great little tool and a way to speed up checking what all the Amazon fees are as you start researching more and more products. Now, what I want you to do before you go to the next lesson is just go check out the FBA Revenue Calculator tool yourself, just so you know how to quickly find it when you're ready to use it. And you will be using it in this module. And then coming up, we're going to learn how to easily find ways that you can improve your product over your competition using a process called product tuning. So I'll see you in the next lesson.